got a really good email from my man Chase. And he says to me, "Hey, Billy C, do you consider Lennox Lewis to be the last of the great heavyweights?" I love the question. I love the question. And I'll say this, there's no doubt that Lennox Lewis is a great fighter and was an all-time great. And you got to put him in the conversation when you talk about great heavyweights, especially all-time greats. To me, not only would I say that about Lennox Lewis, but I would also say that Lennox Lewis has changed the heavyweight, the complexion of the heavyweight division. Prior to him, heavyweights, look at Mike Tyson, coming in at 218, 220, 216. Jack Johnson was a monster, 201. Rocky Marciano, I don't think he ever fought more than 189 pounds. So what Lennox Lewis did is he brought in this 6'4", 243 chiseled muscle punching machine. And subsequently, we've had, a lot of big guys, physically, humanity, we've gotten bigger. So I think when you start to say great heavyweights, because we all look at the previous generation, I'll look at my generation when I was a kid and I'll say, nobody was better, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, those guys, Tommy Hearns, of course, that era and before, the Sugar Ray Robinsons and all of those. And when you look at the heavyweights, the heavyweight greats, I mean, of course, Ali and Marciano, Dempsey, Holyfield, Jack Johnson, Klitschko, you got to mention Larry Holmes, Sam Langford, my man Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, of course, and Ali and George Foreman. More modern, I think great, a great fighter is a fighter who fought everyone that was available to them during their era. You really can't compare Jack Dempsey's era. I'm getting ahead of myself because next week we're going to be talking exactly about this, but it's hard to, I think Lennox Lewis was a great fighter. To say he was the last of the great ones, I mean, fans today think Usyk is great. They think Tyson Fury is great. They think, Anthony Joshua is great. So, those are the people that are going to be saying, oh, they don't make them like Usyk anymore, when they're, older and stuff. So I think it's a really tough question. And I myself I've always said, the guys of yesteryear. I mean, anybody that knows me, that's talked to me about boxing, it's one of my platforms, but the truth of the matter is, we'll be bringing up some topics next week of why that's a really tough thing to say and do, especially today. But I want to point something out. We're talking about great heavyweights. Great question, by the way, Chase. Thank you. I don't know if I answered it for you, but I had fun doing it. But talk about heavyweights. I can't help it. This whole Mayweather thing, right? And the whole 50-0 and stuff. Consider this. And most of you guys, now I know Coach is going to have heard of him. My man Cello's saying Jimmy Wilder was 93-0 before his first loss. No, I know. And Julio Cesar Chavez was at least 80. He had at least 80 fights. But check this guy out. And I know Coach has heard of him, but I don't know how many others that are, in the chat room now or listening whenever. How about young Stribling? All right. Young Stribling had a career record of 256 wins, 16 losses, and 18 draws. Now, when he died, he was considered a heavy. Oh, did I mention that he only fought from 1921 through 1933? All right. Not very long. And when he died, he was 28. Okay. And he died in a motorcycle accident. He was still fighting. But he started at flyweight. Now, I'm only bringing him up because here's a guy that nobody ever talks about. We talk about Manny and everything. Now, remember, it was only 8 weight classes when he fought, and he fought in an era when they were fighting every week. He fought a couple of times a week sometimes. So it was a different era. But for a fighter to say I'm 50-0, or a fighter to say I'm undefeated at 30-0 and bragging and pounding their chest, you look at a guy like young Stribling, and 256 wins. Somebody say, "Well, he had 16 losses." Who cares? Who cares about the? Oh, well, he had 18 draws. Who cares? 256 wins. I mean, that's more than 10 guys could have. It's amazing to me. And then you circle back to somebody like, no, I think you're, I don't think, did Lopez retire at 51-0? I don't know if he was 51-0. I thought he had lost. I thought he lost a fight, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was a draw. Yeah. So what are they saying? So if he did 51-0, I do remember something along that. But yeah, no, Dave, it was a different era. But anyway, I just find it amazing that he fought that many times. But in any event, great question, and I really enjoyed answering that one.